Meanwhile, today, Trump imposed 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminum imported into the U.S., and the European Union retaliated with tariffs on beef, peanut butter, and whiskey. Or as it's also known, the single dad food pyramid.
Yes. Late night tariffs humor. They're a funny bunch, aren't they? You can't get enough of their comedy. I'm making quotation marks with my fingers. They don't do comedy, they do Democrat Party propaganda. Speaking of which, Wolf Blitzer is busy doing Democrat Party propaganda because Schumer, the Lizard King, and the criminals that call themselves Democrats, they're planning on a government shutdown tomorrow. I talked about this yesterday, and I said Schumer and the Democrats, they goose step forward with the ultimate confidence that the news media will lie to the American people and say, oh, it's the Republicans' fault. And I said yesterday, because the news media will say, well, the Republicans control the House and the Senate and the White House. The Democrats will self-immolate and block the bill to shut down the government, knowing that Wolf Blitzer and the Democrats will lie to everybody and say it's the Republicans' fault because they control the House and the Senate. But the Democrats have just enough power to block the bill to fund the government and shut the government down, knowing that they can then, kick the dirt and tisk and say, oh, the Republicans shut the government down again. And then the media will lie about it for them because that's what the media does. But we were talking about self-immolation and all that good stuff because the Democrats love self-immolation and suicide. And great friend Scott from our sea cruises, too, as a matter of fact, sent me a fun story, kind of a fun story because they're all insane. And here's the story out of the beautiful Carolinas. They've wrecked the Carolinas. They got South Carolina on fire because they're mentally ill and criminally insane. Here is Electrek, it's called. The website, a man set himself on fire trying to burn Tesla chargers because Elon Musk, who was a hero of the Democrat Party until not so long ago, and now they're genocidal lunatics. Is Elon Musk a Jew? Because usually when they hate somebody this much, he's got to be a Jew, the Democrats. Here's the story. A man set fire to 3 Tesla chargers at a charging station in a South Carolina parking lot. But karma got him back quickly as he also set his clothes on fire. Tesla has been under attack recently due to its CEO, Elon Musk, and raging a large part of the popular, honestly, through his involvement in the Trump administration and his behavior on social media. See, they're explaining why they hate him because he hangs out with Trump, and he tweeted something that makes them want to burn things and destroy things and occasionally set themselves on fire. Those attacks are, for the most part, legal protests at Tesla stores. I don't think they are, and calls to boycott the brand. But we also have seen some illegal actions like vandalizing cars, stores, and charging stations. Now, that's generous understatement because they've been burning Tesla dealerships, burning cars, attacking, spray painting, vandalizing, smashing windows, threatening people. There was another story in Washington yesterday about Tesla drivers in Washington living in abject horror, living in terror, because the left is threatening them at intersections and flipping them off and vandalizing their cars and the usual stuff. But they've been shooting up the bullet holes through the front windows at Tesla dealerships and terrorizing and burning them. And that just means Musk is going to sell more cars, doesn't that mean that? But honestly, the new example, North Charleston police looking for a suspect who burned 3 Tesla superchargers, and they're looking for a white man in a gray jacket/hoodie with a black face mask. They're like terrorists. They should be shot with rifles. The suspect spray painted beep Trump, the F word, Trump, long live Ukraine. Now, those are unrelated, very unrelated. That's disconnected thoughts, but they're quite amazing because next to the charging station, he wrote, F Trump, long live Ukraine. Reportedly used homemade Molotov cocktails, like so many of them do, out of beer bottles to, I assume, 1 quart bottles, not 12-ounce bottles, but you got to use quarter 40s. You got to bring some 40s along because better that way. Amazing stuff. To burn the 3 chargers, Molotov cocktails, police report mentions that a witness saw that the suspect set himself on fire during the arson. Apparently he didn't die, though, which may be unfortunate, may not. The firefighters quickly responded, extinguished the fire, but the 3 supercharger stalls affected had to be shut down. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, don't forget explosives, is leading the investigation. Previously reported on other cases of vandalism against Tesla properties in which federal law enforcement also got involved. We should call in airstrikes. We should have like Cobra, Super Cobra helicopters, Marine Corps helicopters come in and hose them down with machine gun fire. This is the Democrat Party. Make no mistake. The Democrat Party today.
Watch it, you're on fire! You're on fire, stupid!
That was a Democrat at the Democratic Convention in Philadelphia burning the American flag because they love burning the American. They love the Hamas flag and the Soviet flag and the Chinese flag. They burn the American flag, the Democrats do. And that was a police officer pointing out that the Democrat was so stupid that while burning the American flag and dancing on it, he actually caught on fire himself, and it was a great moment.
Watch it, you're on fire! You're on fire, stupid!
How many of them have burned themselves now? They don't know how to play with fire. When I was a child, I learned how to play with fire properly. And I learned how to use Molotov cocktails properly, but that was my youth, and that's not important now. All right, let's get back to the dim-witted Democrats because they're completely insane. Now, where we left off, I think number 4 is where there is this Democrat New York State Assemblyman who is also running as a Democrat for mayor of New York because their current Democrat mayor, I think he's going to prison for taking bribes and things, which is it was all fine until he spoke up about illegal aliens in New York, and then Joe Biden let loose the corrupt Justice Department on him. Eric Adams, the mayor, the Democrat mayor of New York, they're trying to put him in a penitentiary. I think he took an upgrade to first class on a flight to Turkey. Therefore, prison, because Democrats. We got to check around, too, with flight attendants and things and see how many Democrats have accepted upgrades aboard flights. And they should all plan on going to the Gulag Archipelago. But here is the Democrat State Assemblyman in New York, Zoran. Don't mess with the Zoran. Zoran Mamdani. And he is very, very angry with the Tom Homan, the border czar that President Trump created because he actually wants to do something about the border that Joe Biden and the Democrats never did. So here is the mental New York State Assemblyman Zoran Mamdani.
No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here.
And his friends.
No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here.
They're attacking, they're ganging up on Tom Homan. They're dressed like terrorists. They got these chants. They've got girls. And the jihadi Zoran Mamdani. Here comes Tom Homan. He's eating an apple. That's a New York State Assemblyman. Tom Homan is walking by very casually, kind of smirking at them and eating an apple. Apples are good for you. Very healthy. tasty food. He's walked by now. He's gone through the doorway. So the Democrats they really need medication. They need maybe institutionalization. We're going to have to build a giant mental institution, like larger than Vermont, I think. It's going to have to be bigger than Vermont. We're going to put a fence around it. And that's the raw video, the raw audio that we play because we're on the radio. And the mob of insane, mentally ill, Jew-hating, pro-genocide criminals that are dressed up like terrorists with their keffiyehs and their Arab headdresses, and they're screaming. And they got these young girls out there that have been brainwashed and indoctrinated by the left. And then number 4. And here is the New York Assemblyman Zoran, Democrat, running for mayor of New York, Mamdani.
How many more New Yorkers will you detain? How many more New Yorkers without charge? Do you believe in the First Amendment? Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Homan?
Yeah, he believes in the First Amendment. But he's a supporter of terror. Their new hero is a terrorist, terrorist. And it's amazing that the body count isn't already higher than it is. But more of them will be setting themselves on fire soon. Tom Homan is the border czar, is a career in federal law enforcement.
We consider him a national security threat. When you're on campus and I hear freedom of speech. Free speech has limitations, but when you go to a college campus, you incite protesting and locking down and taking over buildings and damaging property and handing out leaflets for Hamas, who is a terrorist organization. Coming to this country either on a visa or becoming a resident alien is a great privilege, but there are rules associated with that.
And when you lie on your application for a student visa, you can be ejected from the country by catapult or by Boeing aircraft. And when you lie on your application for a green card about your being, hey, are you a terrorist? Me? No, heck no. No, I think the Jews make bagels, and cream cheese, too. Tom Homan has said, we're coming for your illegal aliens, even in New York City. Even if you refuse to cooperate with ICE, that just means that we will quadruple the number of ICE agents coming into New York to enforce the laws of the United States, which the Democrats are against.
You're not going to stop us. New York State, you got to change the sanctuary status. If you don't, get out of the way, because we're going to do our job. We'll double the man force there if we have to. Because rather than one officer arresting a bad guy in jail, one officer arresting one bad guy, now I got to send the whole team, which means what? It means we send more officers to New York to get the job done.
Give them rifles. Give them a lot of rifles and tasers and bring in fire trucks from airports with foam and things like that. Law professor extraordinaire Jonathan Turley is someone who makes sense in the midst of all of the madness. And when they're Mahmoud Khalil, the new hero of the Democrat Party, needs to be catapulted out of the country. And again, he lied on his application for his student visa. He lied on his application for his green card. He supports jihad. He could be kicked out of the country for at least 3 reasons.
I think ultimately the government is likely to prevail. They usually do. The courts defer to the government. The implications going forward are something that the Trump administration needs to explore. The Trump administration has a very good record on free speech in fighting censorship and breaking down the censorship system under the Biden administration. They shouldn't fritter that away with reckless rhetoric. The problem is not participating in protests supporting Palestine. You're allowed to do that. The problem is conduct. This case involves conduct. He was a part of an effort that had occupied buildings, committed property damage, and he's accused of basically furthering Hamas literature, etc.
The Democrat Party is the party of genocide, just like the Socialist Workers' Party of Adolf Hitler. Oh, by the way, this state representative in New York is also a socialist. He's a Muslim. He's a radical. He's an elected Democrat, and he's a democratic socialist. The word democratic is a fig leaf for socialist. He's a commie. And he should be deported, too. You know that this country was built on hard work. Am I right? Whether you're standing long hours every day, running errands, chasing the kids, just doing your part to keep the world turning on its axis, you shouldn't have to deal with fatigue every day and foot pain and ankle pain and knee pain, and that is where G-Defy shoes come in. G-Defy shoes, built with patented VersaShock technology. The Federal Trade Commission has authorized G-Defy to tell all of us that these shoes actually help to relieve minor occasional pain associated with walking and running and prolonged periods of standing. So many of us do. G-Defy shoes help absorb harmful shock. They align your body, improve your biomechanics, and return energy with every step that you take. My best girl and I, we each have pairs of G-Defy shoes. They sent us G-Defy shoes. They're wonderful. They make your arches feel better than ever. Right now, you can get 50% off your order of $120 or more because you hang out with me. All you have to do is text my first name, Chris, to 91888. Or go to Al Gore's Amazing Internet to gdefy.com, GDEFY.com. Use the code Chris. All right? And with G-Defy's 60-day risk-free trial, you've got nothing to lose at all. Message and data rates apply. Yes, sir. Yeah, the Democrat Party is not what it used to be. One of the things the Democratic Party isn't is democratic. Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at washingtontimes.com/Chris. We got more crazy Democrat coming up, and party of jihad and slavery and Bill Clinton. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Pete, calling from Stafford, Virginia. Pedro, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Great, Pete. What do you say?
Good. Oh, hey, I'm going to try to keep this quick because I see we're short on time here. But also, just to let you know, my best girl and I will be joining you at the Free Speech Forum and on the cruise.
No kidding.
The last time
excellent.
Yeah.
All right, well, introduce yourself at the Free Speech Forum.
I will. And, you know, we've done like 3 cruises together already.
Oh, okay. So, all right, my apologies. Okay.
Yeah, I'm the retired FBI agent that you.
Oh, of course. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, of course. Now I know who you are. You bet.
Also, did you go to CPAC?
I really didn't. I was working the whole time.
Okay. Well, the funny thing is that we were at CPAC, and I'm listening to Mike Rowe being interviewed, and this guy standing next to me had this very heavy Australian accent, and guess who that was?
Jason?
It was Jason. Yeah.
Outstanding.
So I got to meet Jason.
That is great.
I know he called in today, so shout out to him. So anyway, the quick point I wanted to make was on this Mahmoud Khalil. All right, I've called in a few times.
Yeah, real quick, clock's running out on you.
Okay, all right. So just look, he's definitely he could be charged with material support. If you look at the Holy Land Foundation, you don't have to blow something up to be charged with material support.
Yeah, which he clearly is doing. Now, the Democrats are planning for a government shutdown, and the media is planning on blaming Republicans because they're filthies. They're a gang of filthies. You may remember the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, just passed this like 48 hours ago. The Clean CR, which really is just a continuation of the Joe Biden White House budget. And a lot of conservatives, a lot of Republicans are not happy with the Speaker passing this so-called clean continuing resolution because it's just more of the same, right? But the Speaker came out and kind of bragged about it, I guess, the day before yesterday.
Well, this was a big vote on the House floor. The Republicans stood together, and we had one Democrat vote with us to do the right thing, and that is to fund the government. This was a clean CR. It freezes funding. It's a responsible thing to do. Clean CR, and one Democrat voted. That Democrat should probably be immolated by the rest of the Democrat Party, because one Democrat in the entire House of Representatives, hundreds of the criminal sexual deviants, one voted with the Republicans in the House. One. The rest goose-stepped in unison, as they always do.
and voted against it. And Chuck Schumer, the Lizard King, he's planning on undermining the Republicans. And the media, they're in cahoots with them. And I want to play some of that for you now. Chuck Schumer, the Lizard King, he's planning on sabotaging the United States of America and the people of the United States, and then blaming the Republicans and the corrupt media, so profoundly filthy corrupt that just amazing stuff. But here is the Lizard King, Chuck Schumer.
Republicans do not have the votes in the Senate to invoke cloture on the House CR. Our caucus is unified on a clean April 11th CR
April 11th.
that will keep the government open and give Congress time to negotiate bipartisan legislation that can pass. I hope our Republican colleagues will join us to avoid a shutdown on Friday.
He's a criminal. He should be in a penitentiary. He lies every time he speaks. He's a reptilian person from another galaxy. He is everything that is wrong with Washington contained in one scaly, crusty, odoriferous vessel. He is the Lizard King. Just amazing stuff. Now, there is a Republican senator by the name of Ashley Moody, and she's brand new senator from Florida, and she replacing Marco Rubio, the gubernatorial appointment. And Ashley Moody was asked about it. She's brand new to the U.S. Senate, and she's shaking her head at the lunacy that passes for good governance in Washington.
If this is a shutdown, it'll be the Schumer shutdown. This is completely on the hands of the Democrats. You have Republicans that are focused on keeping this government open, making sure that we're not disrupting the lives of the American people and the American workers. And we want to make sure that we keep government moving to deliver on the mandate that the American people gave President Trump and help him get his agenda done.
Chuck Schumer then went out and firebombed a Tesla outside the Capitol, and close to where the Democrat launched the suicide attack outside the Capitol. About a year and a half ago now, a radical black militant suicide attack against U.S. Capitol Police, murdered U.S. Capitol Police officer Billy Evans in a suicide attack. He had to be gunned down because he jumped out of his vehicle and attacked the police with a giant knife that he had just bought. But he crashed his car into Officer Billy Evans and another U.S. Capitol Police officer, killing Billy Evans and severely injuring the second. And Chuck Schumer and the Democrats, they're just not on the side of civilization. Senator Ashley Moody.
If this government shuts down, you have Republicans that have never voted for a continuing resolution that are saying we want to keep this government open. We want to keep making progress and getting wins for the American people. And we're dealing with the perfect storm here. You have creatures of the swamp. Schumer has never had an adult job outside of being a legislator. He's warm in the swamp. He wants this fight for no reason. And you've got lots of Democrats that make decisions based solely on emotions.
Well, the Lizard King knows that the big lie will carry the day, like their boy Joseph Gurgle, as the Reverend Al Sharpton likes to call him. They are the Socialist Workers' Party of today. They're genocidal anti-Semites. Even their Jews are anti-Semites. And President Trump said that yesterday about Schumer, and we played that audio a little while ago. Absolutely true. Schumer's not Jewish anymore. He's a Palestinian, and he really should have a suicide vest. But amazing stuff. Now, Senator Ashley Moody, again this morning, shaking her head. And the Democrats, they know that the media will carry the lie, just like their boy Goebbels.
That's what we're dealing with right now, with a bunch of Democrats that just want a showdown. But this shutdown will be on Schumer. And that is how everyone should understand this. And Republicans will keep moving forward in a proactive way.
In a proactive way. Well, God forbid, they don't want the government functioning. They don't want to save money. They're the party of waste, fraud, and abuse. They're the party of genocide of the Jewish people, even they're Jews. They're the party of destroying the United States of America and capitalism, which is what happens when you bankrupt the United States, $36 trillion in debt already. would take more than 1 million years to pay off the national debt if we started paying it off now at $1 a second. Wolf Blitzer of CNN, he's a Democrat Party devotee, goes way back, and he is already teeing up the big lie, the gurgle lie, because Schumer wants the media to carry the big lie. They don't even have to be told. They know intuitively what to do. Wolf Blitzer on the big lie.
I know you're already, like so many other Republicans, blaming the Democrats for this potential shutdown, and you say Republicans should call their bluff, your words. But your party, as you of course know, has control of the House, the Senate, and the White House. Why shouldn't voters hold Republicans accountable for what happens in Washington if, in fact, there is a federal government shutdown?
Now, that is Republican Congresswoman Lisa McClain that Wolf Blitzer was talking to, and he's framing it up to put the Republican on the defensive. Hey, well, the House just passed the clean bill, right? That is just a continuation of the Biden spending, and it's a terrible tragedy. And there it is. And so Wolf Blitzer is trying to paint Republican Congresswoman, misogynist, sexist, belligerent that he is, Lisa McClain into a corner. Well, you guys control the House and the Senate and the White House, so if the government shuts down, it's your fault. Well, only one Democrat voted with the Republicans in the House to pass the clean continuing resolution, which a lot of Republicans objected to, but they sucked it up and voted for it anyway, for better and for worse. And now it's going to the Senate, where the Republicans are fine with maybe some deviation. But Schumer is orchestrating a putsch, a coup, a takedown of the U.S. government for tomorrow night to shut the government down because he knows that Wolf Blitzer, who I've known for a great many years, and Wolf I used to work with, and Wolf Blitzer is here with the giant lie, the lie so big that, as their boy Joseph Goebbels used to say, a lie so big that no one would dare not believe it. Schumer is plotting, along with his corrupt allies in the news media, to blame the Republicans when the Democrats, goose-stepping in unison once again with their little conga line, with their heads up one another's dark and remote locations, the Democrat conga line, and they're planning on shutting the government down tomorrow because they know that Wolf Blitzer and the rest will carry their water for them. Hey, you guys are, and Lisa McClain is new. She's got to say, well, listen, only one Democrat voted for the bill in the House of Representatives. It's a clean bill, continuing resolution. It's what the Democrats always say they want. Every Republican and only one Democrat voted for it, Wolf. I don't know if you pay attention to what goes on in this city, but that's your job, so maybe you should try. And now Schumer is sabotaging, booby-trapping, and you, and this is what Lisa McClain should say, and you, Wolf, are parading your filthy corruption. This is why the news media has the same trust level as Osama bin Laden and convicted child rapists. She should say something like that. Wolf Blitzer continued.
Clearly, Congressman, the Democrats don't want the government to shut down, and they've put on the table
clear.
A specific proposal in the Senate.
That is fantastic.
They say, let's sit down, Democrats and Republicans in the Senate, and work out a 30-day temporary CR, continuing resolution, so that we can work out a full-scale deal and avoid a government shutdown. But the Republicans, at least so far, are refusing to sit down with the Democrats and work out some sort of compromise proposal.
And he doesn't give her a chance to respond as she tries to start responding repeatedly. Clearly, the Democrats don't want to shut the government down.
Clearly, Congressman, the Democrats don't want the government to shut down.
That is a gigantic, fatuous lie. A psychopathic lie. It is obvious to anybody who doesn't have their head wedged deep into their own dark and remote location that it is Schumer that is arranging for a government shutdown. And Wolf, you are one of the useful idiots. My old pal Wolf, you are one of the useful idiots that have led to the news media having no trust, no confidence in the news media anymore because of moments like this Wolf Blitzer. That is a giant Nazi party level Joseph Goebbels lie. This is what you should say to Wolf Blitzer, who's Jewish too. And this is, you're Joseph Goebbels. You're so close to being the Nazi party in the United States. You hate the Jews, and you're Wolf Blitzer, for God's sake. Just appalling, but that's what they do. This is our news media. Boy, oh boy. Also, by the way, the economy is the news media. They love to focus on the whatever serves the interest of the Democrat Party. But President Trump yesterday in the Oval Office, where he talked about everything, talked about, inflation went below 3%. Yesterday, day before yesterday, below 3%, 2.9% inflation. Joe Biden had it over 9%. Now, President Trump, below 3% inflation. President Trump, and by the way, the price of eggs, which was the big talking point for the Democrats, 1,000 mentions. Oh, the price of eggs, the price of eggs, the price of eggs. Price of eggs has now dropped more than $2 per carton of a dozen eggs under President Trump. Joe Biden, of course, bit the heads off of more than 100 million chickens as America's geek-in-chief.
Inflation is way down, and it's based on what we've done. And we've done it in a very short period of time. When these characters took over, we went from no inflation to the worst inflation probably in the history of our country. So it's very interesting. We are planning to lower taxes, if the Democrats behave, but the Democrats have no clue.
But the Democrats have no clue. Again, the price of gasoline at the pump has dropped for a third straight week because we're drill, baby, drill. We're drill, drill, drill. We're getting energy independence back, even though the Democrats are against it. Price of eggs dropped more than $2. More than $2 per a dozen eggs, a carton of eggs, as we used to call them. And the egg prices dropped. The first week of March dropped 15%, 15%, and $2 per dozen 12-pack of eggs. Right? Inflation cooled for the first time in 5 months. We're now down below 3% inflation. The stock market actually rebounded yesterday in a very positive way. The Democrats are against all of this. Just amazing stuff. And there's a really funny Chris Hayes. Remember Chris Hayes? He's kind of a transgender. He's commonly known as Rachel Maddow, but with a very small penis. And he's an anchorman at MSDNC, where they pay him more than $1 million a year. And he's having a mental breakdown.
Really, every day, I can't believe what we're witnessing. He's escalating a trade war with America's closest allies and trading partners. This is not the behavior of a stable genius. It's also not great for American business.
Now, also at MSDNC, Lawrence O'Donnell, he is a proud socialist. He self-describes as a socialist. And he is having a mental breakdown, too. He's got to take a week off because 52 days of Donald Trump, I think it is, too stressful for him. He can't handle it. So he's passing to Rachel Maddow, who is Chris Hayes, but with a larger penis. And here is Lawrence O'Donnell, the socialist at MSNBC, having a mental meltdown.
Well, I know you've pledged to cover and be here for the first 100 days
Maddow.
Of the Trump presidency. I hope you noticed that I did not make that same pledge.
He didn't make this. He's mental.
When you did.
You're not going anywhere, are you?
Well, here's the thing. This is day 52. I thought it was day 92. It turns out it's day 52, Rachel, and I'm exhausted at day 52. And so I'm going to take next week off. And
He's exhausted. He's too exhausted. He's got to take the week off because after 52 days, he's had a mental meltdown, and now he's got to take the time off. Yeah, on CNN, they got a woman on CNN, Kara Swisher, and they want the economy to be bad. That's why Chuck Schumer is planning on shutting the government down, why Wolf Blitzer is lying like a pathological liar about it. And egg prices down, that was their big talking point. Gas prices down. Inflation down below 3%, not Joe Biden's 9% plus. But on CNN, this is what you get.
I'm calling it a Trump session, just like he's trying to shove it over to Biden. But really, it's his. He's sort of owning it by saying, I'll do what I want.
Yeah, there's no Trump session. It's 3% inflation. Egg prices down $2 per carton. Gas prices plummeting. But the left They just want to burn your Tesla and your charging station and maybe set themselves on fire, too.
Did I hear you correctly say that perhaps he was influenced by Gergel and the Third Reich in terms of telling a big lie? I just want to make sure that's what I heard you say.
That's right.
All right, let's get to, I got some amazing audio for you because these liars like Chuck Schumer and Bernie Sanders and Nancy Pelosi. Let's go to soundbite number 25. In 2008, that's when Barack Obama was elected to the presidency. Communist, racist that he is, leftist. Bernie Sanders in 2008, who sounded an awful lot like Elon Musk and Donald Trump when it comes to stopping government waste, fraud, and abuse.
There is no question that there is an enormous amount of waste and fraud and abuse in this government.
What?
There is no question to my mind that Congress has not been vigilant enough in rooting out that waste and fraud.
You've been there for
the tune of billions and billions of dollars.
100 years, trillions of dollars. That's Bernie the Bolshevik in 2008, the year that Obama said he's got to fight waste, fraud, and abuse in the government. Now he'd self-immolate before allowing it. Chuck Schumer in 2010, while Barack Obama was in the White House.
If we're going to eliminate the waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicare, it does mean we're going to cut some of that out. And when I hear my friend Dave Camp say you cannot cut money out of Medicare, well, we don't want to cut the good stuff that you point out.
Oh, not the good stuff. Nancy Pelosi in 2013, while Barack Obama was in the White House.
We have to subject every dollar of the taxpayers that is spent to the most intense scrutiny. Nobody, any of us who have been supportive of initiatives that help people like Medicare and Medicaid are the most critical that every dollar is spent in the most effective way and that no taxpayer dollar is wasted.
You're killing old people. You're destroying Social Security. You're destroying the world. You're taking money away from the poor and from the elderly, and you're such a terrible person. They all sound exact. They're saying that it's like it's almost like Elon Musk lifted the scripts typed up by Bernie the Bolshevik and the Lizard King Schumer and Nancy the Wall Street guru Pelosi. What liars.